Free magnets are great, but are they worth $1,000? Today we're covering the perks and hidden costs of annual passes.
Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe, and on today's episode, we are on part 2 of our 3-part series on annual passes. So if you missed last week we took a look at the history of annual passes, why they were created in the first place. Today we're going to be talking about all of the perks that come with annual passes and 5 hidden costs that you may not think about whenever you're getting an annual pass. And then next week, we're going to be wrapping it up with our year-long actual experience as annual pass holders and whether we actually thought it was worth it or not.
Yeah, it's this has been like a really interesting little experiment that we've had, and I definitely think that we have some I definitely have some opinions to share.
I have opinions to share as well. That is perfect, because this whole podcast does not work if we have no opinions to share. So this is all good. So just a quick refresher for everybody who may not be familiar with Walt Disney World Annual Passes. We have 4 pass options now. Like I said, last week we went into the history of all of the different versions of annual passes, which is pretty fascinating in that the original one was $100 and now it's $1,600 for the Enchanted Pass. But we have 4 pass options now. There's the Pixie Dust, the Pirate Pass, and those are both only Florida residents. So you have to be a Florida resident to buy those. You have the Sorcerer Pass, which is a Florida resident or a full DVC member. And then the Enchanted Pass, which is the most expensive, over $1,600. Anybody can buy that one. So just kind of like a refresher with that. And each of them come with similar benefits. So it doesn't really matter. Again, if you're not a Florida resident or a full DVC member, you only have one option. But if you are, you have other options. But they all come with the same perks. So you get free standard parking, you get merch, dining discounts, you can get resort discounts, there's exclusive merch, exclusive snacks, photo ops, and we'll kind of get into all of that. But basically, all of those passes include that. Where the limitations come in is on like blackout dates and stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. So to talk through the blackout dates here, the Pixie Dust, you can't go on any weekend or any holiday, and anything that even remotely resembles a holiday. I'm talking President's Day. I'm talking spring break, Memorial Day, Easter, Labor Day. Basically, if your kid is off of school for some reason, you can't go to Disney World.
Or your wife.
Yeah, right. Like if you're a teacher and you're off school, or your kids are off school,
this is not the pass for you.
It's not the pass for you. The Pirate Pass, you can go weekends, but then they call it peak holidays. You're blacked out, which again, those are all the holidays, and then plus spring break. Sorcerer Pass is select holidays that you can't go, and basically what that is it's just Thanksgiving and like the Christmas New Year season. So it looked like you could go Memorial Day, like Labor Day, like those holidays you were still good on, but whenever it's peak season, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, that's when you are blacked out. And that's even one of the reasons, like, we are not we bought DVC on resale, so we're not eligible for the Sorcerer Pass. But we talked about it, because even if we were, we wouldn't get it, because when we went this year, we went over Thanksgiving, we went over Christmas and New Year. So we would have had to purchase tickets, and it wouldn't have been worth it. Sure, you save, I think it's $600 is the price difference right now. But if we wanted to go there, we would easily spend over $600 for tickets.
Yeah, we couldn't utilize it. Again, like when you work in a job where your time off is everybody else, like all the kids' time off, then your holidays are more crowded. You get off when it's really hot, like stuff like that.
But even that, I mean, we wanted to go for New Year's.
Right, 100%.
Like we wanted to go down at that time. So maybe we could have avoided Thanksgiving, but we wanted to go down for New Year's.
Yeah, and there's unique offerings, so we'd miss out on that.
Exactly. So that's something to keep in mind too, where it's like, oh yeah, if I'm a DVC member, I can save some money on my annual pass. But there is the trade-off that annual pass does have blackout dates. So if you're somebody that likes to go the week between Christmas, the week of Christmas, week of New Year, or they like to go over Thanksgiving, you're not going to be able to go. The annual pass isn't going to work for you. So that is something to kind of keep in mind. And then the Incredipass, that is the one everybody can buy. You don't have to be a Florida resident, don't have to be DVC, anything like that. And there's no blackout date. So that's the one. It's the most expensive, but from, again, a perspective of if you're somebody that is going to be going, even if you're a Florida resident, and it's like, you could maybe be a Florida resident, but you're not an Orlando local.
Right.
Maybe you're 3 hours away. So
and again,
so you can only go on weekends. The Florida resident pass isn't really going to help you.
If you're a teacher or have kids, again, that's when you have off. So that would be when it would be useful to you. So you still have to get the Incredipass.
Well, you could do the Pirate Pass for weekends.
Yeah, that's
like
true,
if you're local and you want to do weekends, you could do the Pirate Pass. So the Pixie Dust Pass is really like, all of our dream. We retire and we go, live in Orlando by Disney. You could get the Pixie Dust Pass and basically
and then just go weekdays.
Just go weekdays and you're fine, which, again, that's a pretty good deal. Like, if you're local that you can go during the week like that, I think that one's...
I was going to say,
like, I think that one's around like $500 or so. It's definitely the most reasonable. I mean, you're going to get like a huge value out of it if you can go, during the week and stuff. But so all things to kind of keep in mind of like, even if you have the option of buying the cheaper pass, you kind of have to look at the fine print on it because it may not actually work for you depending on when you want to go. Mm-hmm. All right, so before we get into the details of the perks, just a reminder, next week we are wrapping this up by breaking down our actual year as pass holders and covering the value and all of the costs we incurred going to Disney for your being pass holder. So just want to mention that. Make sure if you're not subscribe so you know when that episode comes out.
The Disney credit card will never recover.
Yeah, I know. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the hidden costs. But so getting into the detailed perks. So again, these perks are applicable for all levels of annual pass holder. It's not like you get a better discount on merch if you're an Incredipass versus a Pixie Dust Pass, which is honestly... that's kind of nice because, I mean, Disney could limit and say, sure, the least expensive pass obviously has the most restrictions on when you can go, but it could also say, oh, you only get a 5% discount instead of a 20 or something.
Shh, don't give them ideas.
Well, I know, but I mean, what I'm saying, like, I think that's how they limit it. I mean, they limit it on when you can go,
right, and
not the benefits, because quite honestly, the people that are Florida residents, that are locals, they want you to go as often as possible, and they do that as well too. Of, hey, it's the best value, but you can only come during the week when
crowd levels are lower.
Crowds are lower, right? Don't come during holidays when we're already crowded. So it gets more people into the parks. It gets you buying merch. It gets you buying food. Like, you're spending a lot of money in other ways, and so that's why like they incentivize you. In the same way, they change ticket prices throughout the season. Holidays are the most expensive time to go because they don't need help getting people in the parks, but on slow times when it's the beginning of September and it's everybody's done on vacation, everybody's going back to school and nobody's in the parks, tickets are cheaper to maybe incentivize people. Oh, maybe I'll go in the beginning of September instead of the beginning of August because I can save a couple $100 over my trip.
It would be a very interesting thing for somebody to do, but I could never do this, would be to get the cheapest pass if you're a Florida resident, and then as a challenge, spend $0 for the entire year within the parks, just to really optimize the amount of money that you have saved. Yeah, just like, all right, I bring my own peanut butter and I bring Uncrustables to the parks and my own water bottle, and don't eat there.
So I feel like two things with that. One, if you are a local, and again, I would have to assume if you're getting the Pixie Dust Pass and you're only going on weekdays, that you are either in Orlando or probably within an hour of Orlando. Because why would you want to drive 3 hours to go to Disney during the week? So let's assume you're pretty local. So I think if you're that close, there's a high likelihood you could go to the parks and not need to eat.
Yep.
Because you're close to home. You could eat before you go. You could go for a little bit. You could, eat after you leave. That's the other thing. You could go for just a few hours. You don't have to be there all day. I think where it becomes tough is, no lightning lanes. You're never buying any merch. Like, that's where it becomes a little bit difficult. though I do think it is doable.
Yeah.
I think on the flip side of that, though, is what is
be-
the point of being
it
a
would
Disney
be
annual
so
pass holder
miserable.
if you're never going to enjoy you're never going to enjoy any merch, any food. You're going
I was
to
gonna say,
go to
it's
all
the
the
food.
festivals
It's
and
the
you're never going to eat
food.
any food.
Yeah, the food would. I mean, I say this like I could go without the merch too, but you could kind of try to avoid the stores, right? The only thing that you have to hope is that you don't see somebody wearing something and you're like, oh my god, I love that. Where did you get it? And they're like, oh, it's in Emporium right now.
Now, loophole here, okay? Because again, I'm trying to think through and I'm trying to game the system that you've laid out here. So I can't spend any money at Disney.
Could you
within the
go on
parks.
Shop Disney?
No, not even Shop Disney. Could I go on eBay when I get home and purchase some of the merch? Now, again, that defeats the purpose of having an annual pass because not only don't I get a discount, I'm now paying a markup for somebody that went in and bought it and I'm buying it on eBay. So I'm actually spending more money to not spend any money in Disney. But I think technically that's the loophole where you can still get merch.
You could also go to that Disney discount
Store. Yeah.
where
But that's
they-
not going to be that's
It's
not
not
going to be the
their
new
current
merch. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you can get some good stuff over there, I've heard. We have to go. We have never gone. We
that's-
need to go.
Yeah, that is. Well, there's the cast member store that only cast members can go to. That they have like the old merch and they have really good discounts. But then there's like it's like an antique store, but they sell like older Disney stuff there. But it's not. It's a little further away. I think it's like 45 minutes away. It's not like it's like right by Disney. But yeah, you could do something like that. So I think that's a little bit of a loophole. But again, I think you could do it. But then I think that completely defeats the purpose of having an annual pass. And it's like you're getting no enjoyment out of Disney. It's almost like you're going there.
But it
and not
depends
enjoying
on
anything.
but if you're the type of person that's like, I don't care about the food, I just want to ride the rides, you're getting your enjoyment.
I guess so. Yeah, if that is your mentality,
yeah.
sure. But
Like
I feel
for me and you, I feel like the rides are like, I don't want to say they're a bonus. We love the rides, but like
I'm never getting a churro. I'm
yeah,
never
I
getting a
want to
Mickey
eat
bar.
there.
I'm never buying a mug.
And I wanna
Do you know how
buy
many mugs I
spirit
would see?
jerseys
Do
and
you know how many
stuff.
mugs I would see?
So many.
And I can't buy a single one?
Yeah.
I feel like I could probably go 5 days without buying anything or eating a Mickey bar. And then I feel like I would crack. Like I feel like within a week I
5
would
consecutive days or 5 total? Like
crack. I think either.
okay.
I think either. I think 5 days is about my limit. And then I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, why am I? This is pointless.
It is funny, like, or I don't know, like I just think about like Dole Whip. I always will be like, yeah, I could do without Dole Whip, but then every time you're like, I'm gonna get a Dole Whip, I'm like, oh, this is so refreshing.
You're like, can I
and
have
nice.
some?
It's so nice, but you got to get the twist.
The twist is the
You gotta
best,
get the
so.
twist.
All right, so getting into the perks here. So everybody gets free standard parking, which is a nice perk, especially if you're a local. We've never paid to park there because we're out of state, so we never have a car. But that is a pretty nice perk to have because parking, I mean, it's not cheap. It's Disney. I think I don't know what standard parking is. I feel like I've seen signs where it's like $40 or $50, but I don't know if that's like the preferred parking
Yeah.
versus standard. I
Sometime
have to
we-
imagine it's at least $20. Let's say that.
Speaking of like going to the store, like the outside store, we also should get a car sometime and go do other things in Orlando or
No.
drive ourselves over to
There's no point in
Universal
that.
or whatever.
No, just get an Uber. I don't want to be driving in that traffic. I'm on vacation. I don't want to drive and worry about like, oh, I have to get my, Google Maps out. Where am I going? I got to drive in all this traffic. No, just get an Uber if you want to go to Universal or anywhere else. Crazy. You might get in a car. It's wild. You just get, hey, the Mirror Shuttle. We've done that the past couple of times from the airport. That's pretty nice. And it's cheap too. It's only $16 a person. So for us, it's usually less than an Uber would be. Now, if you have like a larger family, I'm not sure. There's probably, a point where, if you could get 5 people in an Uber, probably cheaper than you could on the Mirror Shuttle. But for 2 people, it's a good deal.
We also we haven't yet run into the issue where you used to, like whenever it was provided for free, where you would get there right after a bus loaded and you'd wait 45 minutes to an hour for the next shuttle to like actually start even loading.
Yeah, we have timed it pretty good. I do think the interesting thing with that is, again, speaking of kind of like Disney perks, where that used to be free, we now know basically what the cost of it is. It's $16 a person each way. So it's $32 round trip. I'm sure Disney didn't pay that just due to volume, because they're like, okay, we're going to guarantee you so many people. So maybe they did it for $14 a person. So it does kind of lead you to believe like, okay, Disney can't afford an extra $30 a person staying at their hotels. You know what I mean? Like, make the hotels cost $10 more a night, and then it's $20, and it's a free perk that is going to get more people to stay on property because they get free transportation. Like, it's just, when you look at it that way, like, it's not like I feel like it was costing them that much money to offer that as a perk for people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand why they do some of the things they do. But.
True. We'll see. New CEO, maybe we'll get some stuff back. But so free standard parking, you get merch is between 10 and 20%. Most of the Disney-owned locations are the 20%. The 10% are like World of Coca-Cola down at Disney Springs. You can get a 10% discount if you're an annual pass holder. But again, because that's not Disney-owned, I think that's why it's a little bit less. The nice thing about the merch discount, because we'll kind of get into this with merch and with the dining discount, but you have to proactively let them know. I feel like at the merch, they are better at asking you, do you have any sort of discount? But the nice thing is, if you use the app, like if you use mobile checkout, which most of the Disney stores, like the Emporium, the World of Disney, I think Creation Shop at Epcot, like they all have mobile checkout. If you use the app, it automatically applies your annual pass holder discount. So you don't have to remember or tell them or show them anything. It's just linked to your account and you automatically get that, which is pretty nice to get that, because when you get to the table service, the dining discount, which is 10%, it's mostly a table service. I feel like last year I forgot about our discount more often than we got it, because I feel like they don't ask anymore.
I just figured out our loophole.
Okay.
Annual pass holders should just get a shirt that says, I am an annual pass holder. Ask me about my discount.
Well, you get the annual pass holder spirit jersey. Like, you just get the annual pass holder merch.
No, the person has to like really like look and recognize. You have to be like, now the onus is on you, because I said to ask me about my discount.
But we were talking about this beforehand of like, I feel like before we were annual pass holders, when we would go
got asked a lot.
They would ask all the time, like, oh, do you have any discounts? Are you an annual pass holder? And last year, when we were down there and we were annual pass holders and we could have gotten the discount, I feel like they didn't ask often. And oftentimes we left a restaurant and later I was like, oh, I should have used my annual pass to get a discount there.
I will say, though, I think maybe some of the difference there maybe is because we aren't considering the restaurants we were doing it at. Like, if we eat like a sit down at Disney, like actually on one of the in the parks, I'm pretty sure they probably ask. Like, we did like Boma, we've done like some of the other like places that are on an actual like Disney owned property, but like when we didn't get it, that would be like at the Boathouse or Chef Art Smith's, where it's Disney Springs, where it's like, yeah, this is associated with Disney, but it's not Disney owned. So yes, they have to give the discount, but they're not going to put it out there and be like, hey.
Yeah, I just feel like they asked way more often when I wasn't a pass holder.
I'm just wondering if that's why.
But yeah, so basically it's the table service restaurant. So it is great for like places like Ohana, Chef Mickey's, like these like character meals that are more expensive. You can get 10% off there. There are some quick service restaurants in there. So like at Disney Springs, for instance, that has most of them. So like Ghirardelli, Everglazed Donuts, the Haagen-Dazs shop there. I think Blaze Pizza's on it. Like, there are some of those that aren't, table service restaurants that you can still get the 10% discount if you're an annual pass holder on that. You can also get discounts on after hours events and water park tickets. So currently you can get a water park ticket, 1-day ticket for $49. You can also get resort discounts, which I think this is like the biggest benefit that you get, especially for out of state annual pass holders. because you can get hundreds of dollars off deluxe resort. We actually stayed at the cabins at Fort Wilderness, and I think we saved $300 or $400 a night to stay there, because they were running annual pass holder discounts. This isn't always available though. So right now they are running 35% up to 35% off in the spring, and up to 40% off for summer, which I think summer right now ends at the end of July. This kind of adjusts depending on
like how many people, like what their projected
bookings and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
How many people they project are going to be there.
So like I think last winter they didn't have any discounts on hotels. I think it tends to be more spring and summer. But again, 40% off a deluxe resort that is $600 is saving you $240 a night. So I mean, this can really add up and can really be a big benefit. And you know, I've heard of some people and some listeners, because we've talked about annual passes before, of like, when does the math work out, and you know, like when does it make sense? Like last year we did a whole episode on how frequently you have to go to kind of break even on all this stuff, not factoring in these discounts. And we did have people reach out that said, you know, in my family, only one of us has the annual pass, because we're only maybe planning to go once or twice a year. And so the break even point from a ticket maybe doesn't work out for everybody to have it. But as long as one person in the family has it, you can get the hotel discounts, you can get the merch discounts, you can get the dining discounts. So you can get all of those discounts. And then the other people are just buying tickets because it's cheaper for them just to buy the individual tickets than to have everybody have an annual pass. So that's a good point too, of like,
that's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah. Of like, hey, if maybe we're only planning to go, you know, twice in a year, and it's kind of iffy on the tickets, if one of us has an annual pass, we can kind of get the value from the discounts.
It would be me. I want to be the pass
that's
holder.
fine. Yeah, you could get it. But you know what I'm saying? But like, that's an option too, especially for the resort. Like if you're planning to go in the summer and you can save $200-$300 a night over a week, and you're going to save $1,000, now your $1,600 annual pass becomes $600, which is basically the price of your tickets. And then everybody else in your family just gets the tickets for the week, and you know, you made out, because now then you're getting merch discounts and everything else on top of it. So that's kind of a way to
game the system a little bit.
Not necessarily game the system, but like it complicates the like break even point of these annual passes.
Worth it,
like we kind of talked about just from a pure ticketing perspective, but there's a lot of other things at play of, hey, not everybody actually needs one of these, you know, something to kind of keep in mind.
That is super interesting. So in addition to some of those other discounts, you get some additional benefits. So you could get 15% off of different tours.
Which that's nice. So if you want to do like some of the behind the scenes tours, like Keys to the Kingdom, or like the Rhinos experience, which sells out in like
seconds.
Yeah. You can get 15% off that, which is nice.
There's a couple different ones that we've had friends do as of late. I think there was a Savannah one that our friends did recently, and I'm like, that's not, I don't think, the same one that we did. So there's a lot over there.
We did a Wild Africa trek.
Yes.
There's like a Savor the Savannah tour as well, which I think is kind of like the second half of the Wild Africa trek, but I'm not sure if there might be some other stuff involved there.
Yeah. So you get 15% off of that. Also 20% off of bowling.
That's Splitsville, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. And you also get 15% off of mini golf. And then also $2 off tickets for movies at AMC.
Yeah, so these are a lot of benefits. Like I didn't even know about all of these before kind of looking it up for this episode. Like the movie discount. Like if you're at the AMC theater at Disney Springs, you can get $2 off a ticket or go bowling. So like they have these other options where, you know, it's not just park related stuff. There's other entertainment. You know, on top of that, you can get magnets. So you can spend $1,600 a year to get a free magnet. But, and there's like exclusive merch and stuff too.
Yeah. So let's talk about these magnets for 1 second though, because I do think that there's something that needs to be said about these that was very frustrating for us. We went 5.
Well, okay.
5
so this
times?
is the thing. So
hang on.
I was going to say a magnet's a hidden
times?
cost. A magnet's a benefit, but a magnet is a hidden cost for exactly what you're saying here.
Okay. So we went, I think it was 5 times this past year, right?
Yes.
Okay. I like collectively, I think you went once without me. In those times though, that's no guarantee that they're going to be running a magnet. And there were, I think, 2 occasions where the day or 2 days after we left, they offered a magnet, but they do not give them out early. So if you are not there when they are giving out these magnets, you could be an annual pass holder and get 0 magnets if your stuff was not, like, if your trips were not timed correctly, which I think is kind of bunk. Like, I feel like they need to offer those magnets to you every time you visit the park, like up to a certain amount of times. Like they say, okay, this year we're going to offer 10 magnets. So you come and you came 5 times, you get 5 different magnets or something.
Yeah. So let's get into the hidden costs, because magnets are leading into one of the hidden costs of this, because for everything you said. So like you mentioned, they offer these magnets. So we ended up getting 2 magnets.
So again, we went released 5 times.
Yeah. So they released them throughout the year. But they are only for like a couple week window. And then at the end of the year, what they did was they said, okay, we are re-releasing all of the magnets throughout the year. So if you missed any of them, you can come, and it was in December, you can come in December and get all the magnets. We were there for Thanksgiving. You're right. I think it started 2 days after we left was going to be the distribution. And then we were going back for New Year's, but the distribution ended like 2 days before Christmas. Because again, they don't need to incentivize people to come over Thanksgiving or Christmas, so they do it in December. They don't even physically have the magnets on property. These magnets
are housed elsewhere.
Are such a closely guarded secret. It's like gold bricks that they don't trust the cast members with them, I guess.
Yeah, because we asked because we're leaving.
Yeah, we're leaving tomorrow. They're like, it happened. Like, we're leaving tomorrow.
And tomorrow, I believe, was the day that
tomorrow. Or I think it was 2 days. They were like, could we get it earlier? Like, we don't even have them here. Like, they bring them the day they release them. I think, to your point, if they have one magnet, because you have to scan in, show your ID. Like, it is not like you just walk up.
Did I get one magnet? Did I actually
I don't think
get
you got the one. You didn't go back and get, because I got the one.
Do we have 2 Maleficent magnets? I feel like we have maybe one.
We have one Maleficent, because I got that myself, and then you came later, but we didn't go get a magnet.
Yeah, I think I got one magnet from all of that just because of like timing or just like not going. I got the one, and you're like, I don't need another one. Like, we don't need 2 of the same magnets.
But to your point, like, it's locked in. Like, if I went back with you, I wouldn't be able to get another magnet. It's not like you just go and say, hey, I'm an annual pass holder, I want a magnet, and you could have people getting 3 or 4 magnets. You can only get one. So to your point, they have enough magnets for everybody.
Yep.
Why not have it available? And I get you don't want it available all year, but have it available for 3 months. And so if you're not at Disney in those 3 months versus 2 or 3 weeks, okay, you miss out on that magnet.
I don't know. I feel like guest services or somebody could do this all the time. Like, this is not something that because I think you could make the same argument if it's 3 months and I'm busy those 3 months, and then I come the day after, I miss my complete opportunity to get a magnet.
I guess my point is too, you could have a different magnet every 3 months, so at least you get a magnet.
Yeah.
But again, it's funny.
But there are times that you can go and get 0 magnets. So yeah, it is this very interesting thing, and I never thought that I would be. I wasn't upset over magnets.
Everybody is listening to us rant about magnets, and they're like,
"Really?
You guys went to Disney 5 times?" Like,
yeah, 100%.
Okay, and your problem is magnets.
Yeah, it's just an interesting thing. So
but it's a funny thing, and my point of why this leads into the hidden cost is because the magnets are very popular, and so people hear it like, I got to get my annual pass holder magnet. But it leads into this idea that the annual pass, yes, it has all of the benefits we talked about, but it also costs you more than you think about, because you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get an annual pass. I don't have to buy tickets. I can get a discount on resorts. I can get a discount on merch. But the annual pass is just getting you in the door. Mm-hmm. And especially if you're out of state, that is not covering flights. You still have to pay something for the hotels. The hotels aren't free. And it's this idea of like trip creep where, oh, if I want my free magnet, I have to go to Disney during these 3 weeks. I maybe wasn't planning on that. Oh, well, I have an annual pass. It's basically free for me to go for tickets. I'm going to go more to get this stuff. So, and I think that's kind of why they do it. It's like, if it was available all the time, would you really be incentivized to go more often? So that's kind of the first hidden cost, is this whole idea of trip creep, where you're going more often than you would have gone otherwise, and you're actually spending more because you have a benefit of, oh, I have free tickets with an annual pass.
Well, speaking of that, like, and kind of like this trip creep and like feeling like you're obligated to go almost, like, and again, that's a very privileged statement, but like you're feeling like, oh, I have some time off. Let's go to Disney because it's already kind of paid for.
Well, because you paid thousands of dollars for tickets. So you're like, well, I better go to Disney.
Yeah, I'll go make it useful.
Yeah.
But then the thing that you're not doing then is anytime you do have time off, you're not maybe doing something else, like experiencing
every trip becomes a Disney
something
trip.
else. And that for me, I think, was the part that is the hardest, because as much as I do love going to Walt Disney World, I like doing other things. I like trail running and hiking and seeing different things or experiencing different cultures. So like, if we are gonna have a trip, I do know that like this past year I've missed experiencing new things. Like, we did do new things at Disney, but I missed out on the benefit that you get from interacting with different cultures or different settings that like Disney doesn't really scratch that particular itch.
Have you ever heard of a place called Epcot? They have a lot of different cultures there. Yeah, you're basically, to your point, it's like you've put so much money into annual passes. You're like, I've spent all this money. I have to get the most value out of this. I have to get the most, my money's worth, the most value out of this. That every trip becomes a Disney trip, and it is something that I feel like you may not think about when you're signing up for an annual pass, because you think, oh, I go to Disney once a year, twice a year, maybe an annual pass makes sense. But then you do that and you go, well, now I'm going to Disney 3 or 4 times a year. And so, like the number of trips you're going, and then you realize, well, I'm not going anywhere else. And I think, we did try this year to use it as an opportunity, knowing we were going to go more frequently, to try a lot of different things that Disney had to offer.
Yes.
So like, we stayed at Fort Wilderness at the cabins. We did the Segway tours there. We tried to do Hoop-Dee-Doo review. We did foot golf over at the golf course. Like, we try to do a variety of different things that after
Animal
hours
Kingdom
events.
Lodge.
Yeah, like we try to experience a variety of things to get value out of it that way. But I also think, and this goes into the third hidden cost of this, because at the same respect, while we tried a lot of different things to try to like experience different things, to a certain extent, after a while, you stop trying to like maximize your day. Like, we talked about this of like, oh, this is so nice. We could just go to the parks for like 2 hours because we didn't pay for the tickets. Yeah. So it's not like we're worried about going in and we have to get 5 rides in. We have to go eat at these restaurants and we have to get the most out of our ticket value. We're not worried about maximizing what we're doing during the day because the tickets are already paid for and it didn't cost us anything else. And I think there is, in your mind, you kind of start playing that, and that can be a good thing because it's a more relaxed experience in the parks, which is good to a certain extent. But there is also, after a while, you start realizing like, wow, I've been to the parks 2 or 3 times this trip, and I've ridden one attraction and then left. You know what I mean? Like, I went in and we rode one attraction and we're like, okay, that's good, and we left. And it's like, wow, like, that was kind of a waste of a park day. Like, if I would have spent a ticket, if I would have spent, $100+ on a ticket and I walked in, I rode one ride and left, I would have been like, why did I just, what did I spend on that ticket for? So like, that is something that you have to kind of fight with too, of that mentality of like, oh, I'm not trying to maximize. Obviously there's like a happy medium. You don't want to, be go the whole time either, because that's not fun. But this idea of like, are you really getting the most out of your day when you're going, when it feels like there's no cost to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we definitely did do that. Like, I think when we went over New Year's, I think we rode a total of maybe 2 or 3 rides.
So I will say New Year's is an exception because it's so crowded.
It is so crowded.
And
we didn't. Well, but at the same time, and it was nice because it gave us this opportunity to say we're not upset that we couldn't ride anything. But when you look at it, you could say also that was I don't want to say a failed trip because we got to do some really cool stuff.
We maximized the experience.
Yes.
I think waiting in line would have not been maximizing our day because we would have been waiting 2 hours in ride. I'm thinking more like when we went over the summer.
Yeah.
And it was so warm. And again, it's very hot to be in the parks. And so I get you don't want to be in the parks a lot. But we would go and we would ride 1 or 2 things and be like, it's too warm, we're leaving. But if you were going down and that was your Disney trip and you would have paid money for tickets just to be there that day, we would have been like, no, we need to stay in the parks and get our money's worth out of it. So it becomes this like delicate dance that you have to kind of just keep in mind that you still paid to be there to a certain extent. So you want to get something out of it. You
definitely did.
Yeah,
you flew down, like we said, all those other hidden costs, even though you're not.
You don't think about that. You don't think about, look, well, actually, I paid for the hotel and I paid for the flights. Like that all kind of factors into it as well.
I will say, to an extent, though, for some of those trips, not the one that we took over the summer, but for some of those trips, it's just like, well, you're paying for the benefit of being away from home, away from your stressors, in nice, warm Florida weather, where
you're still on vacation.
It's more comfortable. You get to look for alligators at the airport, like you get all those fun perks.
Everybody looks for alligators at the airport.
You can listen to Buddy Dyer welcome everyone to Orlando.
Yep. I'm gonna miss when
he's no longer.
I feel like he's been mayor for 30 years. It feels like every time we go, he's there.
Yeah,
when
but
he's no longer mayor.
He's not running for re-election.
Yeah, who's gonna be the voice of the tram once he's gone? But yeah, so you're right. Like, you're still on vacation. You're getting some benefit out of it, but just something to keep.
Maybe
in
he'll
mind.
Come on and say this is former mayor.
Maybe.
Dyer.
Yeah, just keep him on. Yeah, just put former in there. Then he's good to go. So, all right. So the fourth hidden cost is, and this is a question I ask you very frequently this past year: do you really need all of that merch? So.
You were pretty supportive, actually.
Yeah, but everybody...
You didn't really.
But people go, oh, I have a 20% off discount for merch because I'm an annual pass holder. But I think the flip side of that is you have to ask yourself, yes, you're still paying 80% for the merch. Like, you're not...
Yeah.
You're getting a deal if you were going to buy that already. But do you need... For me, do I need that many mugs? I can only drink out of 1 mug at a time. I only have 2 hands. I can only hold 2 mugs. Do I really need 30 mugs? Some would argue yes. In the same way you would argue, yes, you need that many Loungeflies and Spirit jerseys and things. But like that's... But it is. I
do not purchase Loungeflies at the parks.
Okay. But still.
I've only purchased 1 Loungefly on a Disney property, which was the cruise.
Now it's costing us even more money because you're not buying them at the parks where we get 20% off. So that's... But I think that's the thing. It's like, you joke about that too, of like whenever stores have sales, it's like 50% off, but it's like, oh, if I wasn't going to buy that, I just paid 50% more than I was going to.
Disneyland Paris, I did purchase a Loungefly there as well.
We weren't pass holders at Disneyland Paris, so it didn't save us anything.
Yeah.
So you've not taken advantage of any merch discounts, but it's a real thing. You're buying merch and it's like, oh, I get a discount, I might as well get it.
Yeah, I definitely got a lot of sweatshirts and things, t-shirts, that I didn't need them, but I'm just like thinking back to some of the ones that I got, and I really do like them though.
Yeah.
I did realize that I have way too many Spirit jerseys, and I probably need to like be a little more selective if I am going to purchase one.
I'm only going to buy the perfect Spirit jersey from now on. Like, I'm not just going to buy any one. It has to be perfect. So the other discounts, besides merch, you get the dining discounts. And again, the hidden cost there is, oh, I'm going to go eat at this table service restaurant because I get a 10% discount versus eating if I would have typically eaten at a quick serve. And so you're actually going to be spending more money saving 10% at your table service restaurant because table service is more expensive, or maybe go, oh, let me go have that character meal. I'm saving 10%. I can't afford not to. When if you typically would have eaten at, a quick service or festival booth or something like that, and it's like, well, yeah, you're actually spending more money to get the discount than you would. That's not one that thankfully we have an issue with. Like I'm very much a creature of habit, so I eat at like the same 5 places that I like to eat at.
That is an understatement of the century.
So I don't go, oh, I'll get a 10% discount here.
I'm gonna get my hamburger.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna get my I don't even know what else.
Oh, we go. Okay, we need to go to eat at Beaches and Cream and get our ice
you know what?
cream
The
and
last
stuff.
couple times we went, we did not eat at Beaches.
We didn't
and
go.
Cream.
We've gone. We did go last at some point, but the past couple times we haven't. I have a rotation.
You do.
Like I like eating.
I've also thrown
fish
things
and
off.
chips at Epcot. Like
You get that every
places.
time.
Yeah.
I've thrown this off the past couple times because I have thrown
your Art Smith's Homecoming every time we have to go
every single time and then the entire time you laugh at me the entire time I eat my food.
Oh yeah, because it's like you've never eaten before. You're like, this is the greatest place in the world. Like we eat here every time.
Every time I go, oh, this is so good, and you're like, can you stop? Why are you? I was like, this is every bite. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is so good.
I will say the good thing about that place is they give you so much food.
Actually, yeah,
tip,
we
tip,
make out on that place.
Pro
yes.
tip: if you have a place like that, like what we do, we go there like our first or second day. Mm-hmm. Then you get the leftovers, and then you eat that for
3 or 4 days.
Yeah, for like breakfast before the parks, like dinner when we get back, and then that way you don't have to buy food in the parks, or you're not buying because you don't really love.
I don't love
breakfast
Disney
options.
breakfast.
Yeah,
I do not like Disney breakfast. I don't like the way they prepare their eggs. I don't really love like the Mickey waffles as cute as they are. And so like there are days where you're like, what do you want anything for breakfast? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll just eat my leftovers from Chef Art Smith's, and I'll have some chicken or mac and cheese.
You'll get like,
not like the most healthy breakfast, but again, it's like
you get 3 or 4 meals out of it.
Yeah,
at the end of the day. So that obviously works out. But yeah, so that one we don't fall into that trap, but I will say the merch trap I feel like we fall into because we're like, oh, let's go check out what merch I have. Oh, this is nice. I'm getting a discount. Ring it up.
It's because you and I both really unfortunately love going into the stores and seeing what they have.
Yeah.
And then when you go in the stores
and then you have discounts.
Yeah, and you see what they have and you're like, oh, I've never seen this Mickey hoodie before. This is real nice. I like the new embroidery that they're doing, and then you end up,
I tried to track. I don't think I fully tracked everything, but I was trying to track like what we spent, what we were getting discounts on last year. I was like an annual pass holder. So I'm putting that together. So we will talk through some of that next year because I'm curious of like what the final number is of like what we spent in merch and
I don't want to know
and what we saved. So definitely tune in next week for the full recap. The last hidden cost I want to cover is the Park Pass reservation system. So with all of the annual passes, yes, you can go anytime you want, but they still have the reservation system. So they got rid of that for everybody else, but for annual pass holders, you still have to make a reservation. It was more of an issue when, like, coming out of the pandemic, when capacity was still somewhat limited. I think it was more difficult to get reservations, but now it seems basically there's always reservations available, especially if you're staying on property at a resort. They basically have it open up. Like we were worried over like New Year's. Like we tried to book those as early as we could, as soon as we know we were going for Epcot for New Year's Eve, because we're like, oh, maybe this reaches capacity. We want to make sure we get in. So it really hasn't been a problem. So they may get rid of this, but it is something to keep in mind because you have to plan ahead. So it's a cost and a loss of flexibility. So on top of blackout dates for some of the passes, you have this Park Pass reservation system, and the less expensive passes, in addition to the blackout dates, have less reservation days you can hold. So you can only hold like 3 reservations at a time, whereas the Enchanted Pass, you can hold 5 reservations at a time. But it's a loss in flexibility, and if you miss those reservations, it's counted against you. You can only miss so many, so you have to remember to cancel. So it's an added cost and hassle that you have to deal with to be a pass holder versus somebody who's just buying a ticket and going on vacation, and they can just go, hey, I want to go to Magic Kingdom today. I can just walk into Magic Kingdom and go, versus I have to go, all right, well, I'm planning to go eat at this restaurant at Epcot, so I guess I got to make my Park Pass reservation for Epcot. Then you can park hop, obviously, but I still have to check into Epcot first that day before I can go park hop. So it's added complexity that I'm not sure why they have kept that for annual pass holders, but that is something that a lot of people I don't think are probably going to think about because non-annual pass holders don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah, wow. I didn't even really realize because I'm not on the planning committee for our for our vacation.
You're not on the vacation planning committee?
I'm not. So, but that's an absurd thing. And like to think about, you have maybe a reservation and then you stay out the night before, you have like a later reservation. You might want to go to Magic Kingdom, but you can't. You got to go to Epcot first or something.
Right. Or you have to get up and you have to go, okay,
cancel it.
Magic Kingdom probably still has availability because it doesn't seem like any of them I've really like booked up, but I need to cancel Epcot, change it to Magic Kingdom to go to Magic Kingdom first, or go to Epcot and then park hop. So it's an added layer and just kind of an opportunity and time cost that you don't think about because nobody else has to deal with this except the annual pass holders.
Interesting.
One thing I do want to mention real quick here is, annual pass holders are not the only way to get discounts. So another option, if you don't want to spend the money for an annual pass, is to get the Disney Visa credit card because they have similar perks as annual pass holders, not to the same extent. So you can get 10% off of merch instead of 20, but you're still getting some discount. They also have special photo pass photos, and there's random perks like because we have the Disney credit card. Like I get emails for like discounts on Disney tickets on Broadway, or like they offer little things for them as well. So that is another option for people if you don't want to be an annual pass holder, but you still want to get some discounts when you go to Disney.
Yeah. And they also, the cards are really cute.
Oh yeah, you can get like different like options and stuff on them.
They're very cool. I have the Maleficent one, and then I think we just got a new one, so I changed it. There's a Tiana one.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I kind of wish you could do like have multiple cards. Like they have the cutest cards. They also have a Darth Vader one that I really like, but I like the colors on the other ones.
Yeah. So that's just another option I want to mention. So just as a recap, being an annual pass holder, it's more than just about the free parking and the merch discounts and all the benefit. It's factors in like how often you go, what you're spending there, like kind of how it fits into your trip schedule. Because there's a lot of, with the perks, there's a lot of hidden costs around all of those that we kind of jumped into. So next week, we're going to break down our actual year as annual pass holders, the benefits we got, the costs we spent, kind of what it actually cost us to be annual pass holders. So you don't want to miss it. But that wraps up the show for this week. I want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for lending us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody, and we'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.